All right, hello and welcome to Swing It and Ding It, an iHeartMedia podcast. Man, this is a birdie fest.
It's a Philly show, baby.
Let's go.
All right, welcome into Swing It and Ding It. We are sponsored by Buy My Balls, Bet Parx. We'll see the line in a little bit with Bet Parx, Wear SPF, and Rita's. Stop by Rita's today and try the new Rocket Pop Ice. Moose, along with Mays and Matthews on location, coming to us from Illinois. How's it going down there, Danielle?
Good. Actually, it's kind of nice. The weather's still humid, but a nice little break from Jupiter. But got to go to the course the other day. Obviously, they have all the big John Deere tractors and everything all on site, which is cool. They have one faux driver with a big golf ball and tee set up on site. Last night, we went to an event called the Big Dig, which was on the John Deere test site facility. So they had a bunch of stuff going there. You could test drive the different tractors and stuff like that. And then they actually have a full setup where they were like, does anyone know what's going on here? And I'm like, that's whoops. That's a dirt bike setup. And then all of a sudden they had this kid, Tyler, who was just in the X Games, come out. He did a full display. So the John Deere does an awesome job in terms of just a bunch of events all week, let alone the tournament itself. So it's only Wednesday and we've already done quite a few things. So having a good time.
Awesome.
Out there. Yeah.
Beautiful. Excited to hear more. But now we welcome in Jim O'Connor. Jim, welcome to Swing It and Ding It. Jim is from ProAm for Wishes, an incredible event that is in its 49th years. I'd say it's a pretty big year next year. So welcome to Swing It and Ding It, Jim.
Yeah, thanks so much, Moose, and Harry and Danielle for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. So talk to us about this event, what this means to you, kind of the origins of it, and what, because this is not your typical, charity event, right? This is a multi-day, multifaceted event that goes on each year.
Yes. So I think the awesome thing, right? The one great thing about golf is there's so much charitable, work we can do, right? Whether it be the PGA Tour, all the way down to the local Monday scrambles. The ProAm for Wishes started 49 years ago. Its background was actually for what became the first tee, raising money for that, and it was at Whitford and a few other courses when it got started. But in 2006, we actually shifted the charitable component to Make-A-Wish Philadelphia, Delaware, and Susquehanna Valley, right? So just a great cause. And from that, we've raised $850,000 in the last 19 years, right? And obviously, we're coming up on this event in August. And then next year will be our 20th year supporting Make-A-Wish, and then also our 50th year. So the goal really is going to try to get to a $1 million in total donation for Make-A-Wish. And I think that'll be pretty special for everybody. And then just really the background of it, it's an awesome locally run group. We have an awesome committee of local business people, teachers, Navy vets, right? And then members that throw their time in, donate, support. Penn Oaks Golf Club, where we're hosting it, is very generous with both their staff and the facilities. So it's really just a great weekend. I like to say it's like a member guest on steroids, right? So when I started the event, I love member guests and I love the members. That's kind of the highlight of the year. And I was like, how can we make it even better, right? Well, I think the one thing is you can get your spouse there, right, or your friends and things like that. You can get multiple friends, not just one friend, for a member guest. And then I love music, right? So let's add some music components. So this year we have 3 musical acts. We have a Frank Sinatra singer, and then we'll also have some a 90s/2000s kind of rock band, the Biscotti Boys, and then also Candy Flip, which was an awesome. Still an awesome band, but really a great band. Traveled from down the shore when I was growing up to, State College. So it's going to be a pretty fun weekend on Friday and Saturday.
Now you mentioned, member guest on steroids, concerts, parties, but there's also some serious golf. And then isn't there a fun rule where amateurs breaking 80 on Sunday might get some special award?
Yes. So it's pretty fun. Yeah. So Saturday we'll have the sponsors championship, right? So that'll be your foursome that you play with the amateurs, and that's really kind of also the prep work for when the professionals come in. So it's the Philly section pros, and obviously that's a lot of fun because you get to learn from those guys and gals. I think the nice thing too is everybody hangs out afterwards. The pros do, and you can share stories about, hey, you just talked to so and so that just got back from the PGA Championship, and they can share their experience. So there is that competitive component too, and then the fun thing we'll have. The one rule is if the amateurs break 80, they get to play on Monday also with the pros. So it's pretty fun. It gets competitive locally for some of the lower handicaps. And then we also have some fun because, you might have the guy who might be like a 14 handicap and have the round of his life and break 80. And then all of a sudden he's there with all the guys in long pants and has to tee it up. And we've had situations where, it could be a 30-shot difference between from Sunday to Monday, which is always a good laugh afterwards.
Well, I know you've got, tons of great stories about how this event has impacted people's lives. Just give us one, maybe that off the top of your head, that maybe has happened recently.
Yeah, so I think really I can't really do justice for what Make-A-Wish does, right? And just talking about it, right? You really have to see it. You're dealing with children that are dealing with life-threatening or life-altering illnesses. Right. So that's step one. The other thing we don't really consider is the mental aspect of that, and not just on them, but on their families, right? Their parents, their brothers and sisters, right? And the whole goal of Make-A-Wish, and you can look at any of the surveys that they've done after Wishes, right? It really does boost that morale of the entire family, right? It also boosts the morale of the physicians treating the patients, right? And it's just such a key component. My family and I, we went down to Disney this past year, and it was awesome because we were able to. We went down to Disney, and it was awesome because we were able to really see the impact and see people from around the world, not just the United States, right? Just granting their wishes and living as normal and having as much fun as possible. I think the other interesting component of it is my playing partner, Sid Tyson. He's a surgeon in South Jersey, but his daughter was actually a wish recipient, right, with leukemia. And Sid's a great man, very charitable to the cause, right? But it's not about wealth or anything like that. It's really about getting those children, getting them away, getting them in an environment where they can, be normal for a little bit of time. And I think that's really the key.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then if you look at, Make-A-Wish itself, they granted 324 wishes last year. That's amazing. That's almost a wish a day just for our section, right? So I can't even book a trip somewhere, and they're booking 324 various wishes with all kinds of moving parts and pieces. Wow. And I know their goal is to get up to 500 a year, which is awesome.
So cool. I saw Michael Rubin in an interview talking about his involvement with that too, and trying to do more. It's a great organization. So for someone like you, who obviously is passionate about this, there has to be some golf history. We know you're 3-time club champ at Penn Oaks. Talk about your love for the game and kind of your history in the game.
Yeah, I started out, right. I was kind of played every single sport growing up, right. But my dad got me some clubs. It was actually the first Bernard Longer metal woods. So I was kind of like the cool guy with Wilson metal woods, the first guy to have that. And then really it was just, kind of in middle school and high school started playing. It was some of the best times of my life because my parents would drop me off at like 7. I'd play with my buddies. And then Thursday afternoons, my dad would get off work at like 3, get out a little early. I'd play golf with his friends, do 36. And then they would go out to the bar afterwards, have a beer, and I'd have my Coke, and just some of the great memories. And I think also, my grandpop was into as well. He would share awesome stories from, Cobb's growing up, in the 40s and 50s, which was awesome to hear, kind of that legacy. And then really I played club golf at Penn State, right? It was kind of before the whole Tiger wave had hit, but it was a lot of fun. We played a lot of D2, D3 matches against kind of the local schools. So that was fun. And then try to get, as competitive as a father of 3 girls under 10 can be. And that's, you try and you tinker and things like that, but it's always fun to, compete out there. And I think that's why I still love it to this day, because it still gives you the option to compete.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You mentioned your 3 daughters, and you're also continuing this love of golf and this golf journey with your kids. How's coaching them going? You said one of them listens, the other 2 don't. Do you want to call any of them out on the pod or talk?
Oh, I will call them out right now. So actually, I did tell my one daughter. So she's been struggling for about the last month. She hits it pretty good, but I don't know if she, bad habits creep in. So I said, hey, I'll pay you $20 if you read Ben Hogan's book. So she's on chapter 2 right now, and the swing's starting to look pretty good. So we're getting there, but she's got really good hands, good short game. So, we just got to get that ball on the green. And then my 8-year-old is big. I don't know where she came from, to be honest, but she's playing the 8-year-old tees, and we played a scramble on Sunday, and she was driving greens, but then 4-putting, right? So these are the types of things we have to iron out with her game. Is she's kind of the pot eater of the 8-year-old girl class. So
you got to get them Nate Oxman's new book, The Philly Phenoms.
Exactly.
I just got a couple copies. It seems like a great book for that age group, for sure.
Yeah, you'll be paying her $100 by the end of the summer to read all the golf books.
Yes.
That's great. I wished I started at that age. But you got Michael Little defending this year from Clubhouse 54. Talk about some of the Philadelphia PGA section pros that are in the event, because they take this stuff very seriously, this competition.
Yeah, this is one of the bigger events of their calendar, right? And I think when you look at the course itself, it's one of the tighter courses in the section, not the longest, right? So it does open itself up to some winners that it's not just a bomb and gouge type game, right? But you got to hit it straight. And then, each green complex is unique at Penn Oaks. It was redesigned about 10 years ago. And you might have large greens, but they all have, little pockets and things like that. So how you flight your shots in, distance control is really key. I think that really lends itself to, kind of a top class winner. The winners are usually up in the point standings. You'll have the Zach Oakleys and the Trevor Bensels, and as you mentioned, Mike Little, Dave McNabbs. So you're definitely getting a high caliber winner. But the course can be frustrating, right? So you really need to kind of keep your focus and realize there are going to be bogeys out there. It's tree line, so you hit just a tough shot into a trees, and you really have to take your lumps and really focus on the birdies. I was talking about it earlier with somebody, but just really attacking the par 5s. I think that's kind of the key, and trying to not make a mess of some of the tighter holes, including the opening tee shot on the first hole. I live right off the first hole, and it's still, I don't know what to do on that tee shot.
We'll talk about how people can still get involved in the event, whether from, playing in the event, sponsoring the event. What else are we looking for? Obviously, going into next year is a massive year. So love to try to get you as much support as possible.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Thanks, Moose. So right now we're about 80% full. So we still have a few sponsorships open if you're looking to get involved. So that's key. I think really the biggest thing we could use a title sponsor. So if anyone's businesses are looking for that, we've had I think the challenging part with these, right, is business has been so fluid the last, decade, right? Whether coming out of COVID or, you have a lot of acquisitions with companies, right? So it's affected some of our, sponsors and title sponsors who used to be locally owned. Now they're globally owned businesses. So we'd love to have that,
Yeah.
but really you can reach me at proamforwishes@gmail.com. We also have a Birdies page. So if you do Birdies, EASE, and then ProAm, the number 4wishes.com, that'll take you there as well. And then really, I think from like I mentioned, the local community is awesome. The Eagles supply, memorabilia for us. Jason Kelsey's podcast was great to us. Local restaurants donate gift cards. So really, if you have some things or you want to get your business out there, it's a lot of local business leaders, and CEOs and things like that, bringing customers out. So it really is a great opportunity to kind of grow your brand as well. And I think really when you look at it from a business investment standpoint, you have two of the best brands around, right? The Philly PGA and then Make-A-Wish. It doesn't get too much better than that. And I think the other thing when you're trying to set up, I know you guys have a tournament coming up, right? It's a lot of legwork, right? So our companies or our committee is able to do a lot of that legwork for you, right? And then you can just show up with your marketing teams and things like that, and really, make it a fun experience for everybody. So
That's awesome. Yeah, definitely look to get involved. Now, one quick question for you. The most popular person on Instagram right now is a man named Yip Strickler. I don't know if you've seen him, but he's the guy who digs in on all the member guest situations and possible, cheating, if you will.
Charles.
I hear you have an interesting story, but that has to do
so-
with the great Charles Barkley.
So we actually have a controversy right now because somebody submitted a member at my club to it.
Ooh.
So we're trying to figure out who the mole was. But but if I talk to Yip, I would call myself out on this. So a few years back, it was our member guest, and I had played with my college roommate Artie. He was a 3 handicap, and I was a scratch at the time. And it was just one of those years where like none of the lower handicaps could play. I don't know if everybody's having babies or what. So like it was like us as a team 3, and the next group was like 16 strokes, right? So it's hard to win a 9-hole match when you're given that many strokes. And we had lost all 5 matches. I think I played pretty good. My handicap actually went down after the weekend. And I walked out and I told everybody, I said, I'm bringing strokes next year. I'm just letting you know I'm bringing strokes. So my brother-in-law, who's a pretty good athlete, had just kind of started picking up the game and playing. And he was a 33 handicap. And I'll be honest, like Yip would call me out for this. I didn't work with him at all in the off season, right? It was kind of like once you hit that like 3-week, 2-week mark, then I'm going to start practicing with him and getting him where I can get him to like, maybe down to like a 27, 26 like type with just kind of basic chipping and putting and a little bit of hitting. So we come in and, 33 handicap, and actually Charles Barkley's there playing around. And the owner of our club goes, hey, Jim, can you sit down with Charles and just have a beer and just kind of talk to him? And hey, Jim, Charles, this is Jim. He's one of our better players, hang out. So we're having a couple of beers, and Charles goes to me, he goes, hey, so what do you think about your chances to win the member guest this weekend? And I said, well, I brought my brother-in-law over there. He's a 33 handicap. And Charles goes, there's gamesmanship and there's cheating. That sounds like mother cheating to me. And my brother-in-law goes, Charles Barkley thinks we can win? I go, you were brought for a reason, my friend. So my brother-in-law's nickname is Strokes at the club now because, I said I was bringing Strokes with me. So it's Strokes. And we actually did it. We did end up winning. And I remember the guy shaking my hand, the guy who finished second place, because you did it exactly how you needed to do it to win the thing. So I told him the one funny story though. I did tell him. I said, all right, next year you got to be like a 24. You can't come back as a 33, or else we're going to be sprung up here. So.
How many did you win by?
Oh, so it was the playoff, and he had never played in a tournament ever, and now all of a sudden he's in the playoff. And it's alternate shot. So he has a putt to win it, and it's like he probably has a 3-foot putt to win it. And he nailed it. He drained it. So
you still have to make the shots.
The pressure was there. You still got to make the shots. So I think he went into it blind. He didn't know what he was actually getting into. It was
quite an experience for him.
Yeah, quite an experience. Well, that's awesome. Amazing. Congratulations on everything. Heading into the 49th year, that's incredible. We'll share everything on our socials, but you're a listener of the pod. We know that from the Trevor Benzel comment you already made. So this question is coming. What is your favorite Philadelphia course?
I would say, so obviously I'll take Penn Oaks out of it.
Yes.
I would actually say Rolling Green from a competitive standpoint. I mean, I could go Pine Valley or Marion and all that, but I think
I like that. Great logo too.
I love the competition aspect, and I feel like I've had a chance to play in a mid-am there, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is probably like as close to Augusta as greens could be. So I like the competition aspect of Rolling Green.
That place has come up quite a bit on this show over the years. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. I actually played in one of your events a couple of years. I forget how many years ago it was. Maybe about 8 or 9 years ago.
Yeah, about that.
Because I was working with Jason Martinez at the time on the radio, and me, Jason, and Mikey Miss played in a group. And I remember having a ball that day. The golf course was great, but Mikey Miss was in a dark place with his game and actually needed an emergency lesson before we left the property. Remember that one?
Oh man. So there's like three really dark, like I was thinking about this the other day. It's the guy who has the chipping yips, like trying to warm up for his like
I've
rounds,
had that.
right? You never see the guy with the putty yips because they don't even practice, right?
Right.
The guy with the chipping yips or the guy who's like blading him over the sand traps. I think it's the guys that are that have been carried the entire member guest and now they're going into the alternate shot playoff, right? And they have to find their game because they're going to hit a tee shot in front of 80 people, right? And then there's the guy who probably has an hour drive home from the course, but needs to hit more balls and grind. And Mikey Miss was in that dark place. And I remember the pro just sitting there, you know, trying to help him. It was pretty funty, but I also felt sad for him.
Yeah, we've
all
there.
been there.
Yeah. Not good.
Awesome. Well, listen, thank you for joining us. Good luck this year. Let us know if there's anything else we could do to help, and looking forward to seeing who takes home the championship this year.
No, appreciate it. Thanks, guys, for helping us, and really, you know, thank you for what you do to Philadelphia golf. I mean, it's awesome to get such great exposure to such an awesome game, and I think, you know, I bragged to my friends. I think the Philly area in terms of golf is just such an awesome community, whether it's GAT matches or our local tournaments, the Philly section. So you guys contribute to it all. So thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, let's take a quick break. We will be right back. All right, welcome back to Swing It and Ding It. Thanks to Jim O'Connor for joining us. That's an awesome event. I've heard about it over the years. I haven't played in it, but it's like, I mean, it's a commitment too, right?
Yeah.
It's like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday it's awesome. I mean, that's a lot to pull off.
It really
but
is.
it looks like a really cool event. So good luck to those guys this year and heading into their 50th next year.
Very
And
cool.
benefiting the Make-A-Wish
$1 million
Foundation.
mark
Yeah.
next year. That would be
They'll
awesome.
get there. They will get there. They will get there. So the Rocket Mortgage, Aldrich Potgeiter, Potsticker,
Potgeiter.
Potgeiter. Wow, 20 years old, wins in a 5-hole playoff with a 17-foot 10-inch putt. Youngest player on tour gets win number one. At some point, Harry, he was up to 197 ball speed over the weekend, averaging 326, number one on tour in distance. I mean, we saw him earlier in the year, right? He popped up and looked like he was coming on strong. And then, as you know, it's kind of the ups and downs. But wild finish, 5-hole playoff. Graserman, Chris Kirk missed a 4-footer on the second playoff hole, so he jumped out. But pretty wild finish in an event like that.
Yeah, there was a couple of those holes where Graserman was out driving old Potgeiter, so he must have a downshift. He must have a different gear that he downshifts into to make sure he hits the fairway, because when he wants to let it loose, like he did on number 14, the par 5, I mean, he moves it, man. He triumphed now in his third Sunday final pairing of the season. It's kind of an interesting year that he's had. He's had 3 top 10s now, including the win, but 9 missed cuts in 14 starts. So it's like boom or bust. If he makes the cut, chances are he's going to be in the top 10 and competing in the mix on the final day. He's only made 5 cuts, but now he's got his win and his exemptions. And, you know, this is Graserman's 4th runner-up finish in the last 2 seasons now. He finished runner-up last year in the 3M and the Wyndham and the Zozo and the Fall and now the Rocket. So he's one of those guys that's really getting close to knocking one of these down. And it was kind of a pillow fight, you know, that playoff. But hey, you know, I was glued to it because I took Potgeiter on Saturday night at some plus money. It wasn't exorbitant. It was like, I think it was less than plus 300. But I needed a win, man. I had, you know, Akshay let me down. He played like crap on Saturday and then had a great round Sunday and got into the top 26, I guess, for the one and done. But I needed to get a win. And, you know, the South Africa, I like watching him play, man. I mean, this guy, I mean, he's so stocky.
Got the
you
big
know,
body.
strong,
I like the big body players.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. He looks like a guy that would have really fit in back in the late 70s, early 80s on tour. You know, hitting those persimmon woods with that body.
It's great. 20 years old too, right? Like it's
rugby
crazy.
player.
Yeah.
And how about his dad? You know, they're on, you know, every hole, living and dying with every shot. I mean, like he'd miss a putt, they turned him, and he'd go, oh, You know, he was eating him up, man. It was pretty good.
It was cool. It was cool. Danielle, have you seen Jake Knapp walking around Illinois? Because he was hot. He fired a 61 course record, and he's up the Bet Parx leaderboard this week. Wondering how he's going to do.
Yeah, I haven't seen him yet, but I haven't been, paying too much attention to who's walking around. But that's not a bad way to qualify and get in there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, I mean, a fun close to an event that obviously didn't have the top guys. Well, had some top guys in the field, but
Morikawa and Cantlay, a couple of those guys were in there.
Yeah, but and Chris Kirk, you get into that playoff and it's seasoned vet who has wins under his belt, and then two guys going for their first. You think, all right, Kirk's going to just have the stamina here and the poise, and winds. It's all about the putting, right? Yep. Like it always comes down to those clutch putts. And he was not able to do it on the second playoff hole. Gracerman was shook. I mean, I think he just was like, man, here's my chance to really get this first win. And he was just really in a bad place after that round.
Yeah. Well, how many second place finishes does he have now? Like 2 or 3, right?
Yeah, this is his fourth one in the last season and a half.
Wow.
Yeah. Brendan said he's a Jersey guy too.
Yeah, North
really?
Jersey, Short Hills, New Jersey, and then he went to Duke University. But you talk about Potgeiter, like that guy he's not polished at all yet. Like he's got so many aspects of his game can be sharpened. Imagine if that guy really tones in the short game, what he's going to be able to do, because he's not, and unless something happens to his back, there's nothing that's going to happen to that distance. That guy just is a powerhouse off the tee.
Yeah, his coach was saying that he was reaching 197 ball speed. His coach was like, I like him in the 180s, like the 185s, like
dial it back a little.
You got to pull it back, which is hard for those guys to do that. I mean, if that's their game, you can't change that. But yeah, he's an exciting player to watch.
Yeah, being the President's Cup, probably,
no doubt.
So one of the other South Africans. I always like these South Africans are fun to watch, man.
They are
over the course of the years. So many good players come out of there.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Good event. Rocket Mortgage. Danielle, let's spill some tea. No, Harry, go ahead. You got more on that?
You notice how they dropped the mortgage? It's just called the Rocket Classic now. I noticed that this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because they're more than just like.
Well, they have Rocket Money now, that app, and all this other stuff, I guess. You're right, Danielle. They've evolved as a brand.
So they want it to be their entire brand. Rocket Mortgage is, I guess, just now under like one umbrella. So.
Yeah.
My apologies to the Rocket family.
Yeah. Retract your statement, Moose.
I should know better.
I still call the Cognizant the Honda. I just can't.
So do I.
You know what I mean?
It's hard to change something.
It'll also always be the Honda to me.
Yeah. It just rolls a little nicer off the top.
Yeah.
All right. You guys want to get in some tea?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, Live Emotions. I know this was hot topic in our group text. We saw Brooks get a little frustrated, kind of take the driver to the ground, and then kind of teed off on a tee box. Did you guys get a chance to watch him?
Oh, yeah.
I think he was 7 over par at the time.
Said he was
things
sick.
Were not going well. Yeah, he was sick. All right. That poor tee marker. Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
So we saw that. Like I said, we were talking about that in the group text. And then also during the first round of Live, outside of the marquee groupings, there's, tees paired, or pardon me, groups and teams paired together. And on the 16th, there was a fan just going at Patrick Reed.
Yeah.
And Thomas Peters went outside of the ropes to confront the fan. He's like holding his iron in his hand, like pointing at him, and just kind of yelling at him to make the fan calm down. So Patrick could make his putt. But remember, wasn't it a couple weeks ago that I talked about Patrick Reed's bodyguard that's out there?
Yeah.
I don't know where he was, but all of a sudden, I guess Thomas Peters may be doubling as teammate and new bodyguard, but he was going after him.
Ricky got into it with a fan too. Did you see that one?
I didn't see that
one. I guess it was early in the event. He hits a putt and the guy yells, "Nice lag putt," because it like stopped like 4 feet. And Ricky went at him. Like he went at the guy. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I tell you, frustration level with these players is at an all-time high. I don't know. Maybe we're just seeing more of it because there's just more people with cameras and it gets on social media, whatever. But I'm just noticing so much stuff where these guys are they're on the edge, man, and they're losing it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
the
it's tough.
pressure is insane.
Bryson was in a divot. He took a big old hack.
Yeah.
And then
Steven Yeager.
he looked like he was going to go off, and then he just kind of just hit the turf again, but didn't go too crazy. But yeah, these guys are fiery.
I sent you the Steven Yeager one too. Remember when he hooked a drive on number 4, the par 5, and slammed his driver not once, not twice, but 3 times into the ground, and I don't think the shaft broke.
Oh, well, let's keep the topic of emotions going on. What about Padraig Harrington, Roger Maltby?
Yeah. This was the main event of the weekend, if you ask me.
This was. And so if our listeners aren't aware, Padraig lost his tee shot and wasn't sure where it was. And Roger Maltby, obviously working for TV, was just standing there. And Padraig got very upset and said it's poor etiquette, it's golf etiquette to help somebody in search of a ball, and that he should know better. Maltby should know better after all of these years of playing. And Maltby tried to take the stance like, look, like, I have a boss. I'm not a player.
I'm working. Right.
Like, yes. And I'm a journalist. So I need to remain neutral. Like, I can't be searching for this. So there were a ton of, as Harry was just saying, there's videos everywhere. Somebody grabbed it on their phone and you see the two of them going back and forth, and you see Roger kind of talking to Padraig's caddy and stuff like that. But, I have to side with Roger here on this one.
Well, I don't know where to go on this, because I've seen other on-course reporters help players.
And he said he
balls.
has. He says he has, and he would have.
Right.
Yeah.
But and the other thing is, Roger's as blind as a bat these days. So I don't know if he was going to be any help in finding the ball anyway.
He also commented that ball was gone. There was, a slim chance of finding it.
I remember
he said his producer was in his ear saying, "Hey, we're going to come to you to talk about this." Right. Like, with all due respect, Padraig, like, these guys think the world revolves around them.
Oh, I know.
Everyone should just and Padraig obviously is a very well liked guy, but come on, I think that's again frustration, right? Taking it out on a lost ball and
definitely
taking it on the wrong guy.
Yeah, I think it was a dog leg right, and he hit it through the dog leg into the crap, and it was. I don't think there was any way, even with Roger, with 5 Rogers, would have found that ball. With all due respect, but that was pretty. And the other thing about Padraig, here I didn't like. Why do that in public? Like,
you're in the autograph line.
Go get Roger and take him aside, maybe into the scoring area, whatever. Take him out of the public view where everybody can be filming this thing. Have some respect. The guy's a professional. Used to play on tour, won on tour. I didn't like that aspect.
Or honestly, just check your feelings and be a grown man. Like, we don't have to, complain that somebody's not helping us look for a ball that we hit, in the junk.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, more emotions. Let's go there. Will Gordon made the cut on the number at the Rocket Classic, securing his PGA Tour card for the remainder of the season. So he shot 6 under par, which was the projected cut line. And this was the final start of his medical extension. So if he would have missed the cut, that meant losing his PGA Tour membership. Yeah. He birdied the final 2 holes to be able to make the cut and move on to the weekend, which helped him secure his card for the rest of the season. Wow. So you could just see his emotions after sinking that putt. He was just like, and he went on post around to just say, like, everyone was rooting for him, all the texts, all the calls, everything he was receiving all week. So that was pretty cool to see him, come down to the last 2 holes and make that putt to save his card.
Talk about being up against it, man.
Yeah, you need some ice in the veins for that.
Yeah.
Richard Teeter, not a name that I was really too familiar with before, but I saw this on social. He holed out for eagle to qualify for the Open. So that was pretty cool. You saw him probably.
Awesome video.
Yeah, really great video. So
is that the guy from Estonia?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I did see that. Yeah, that is
correct.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and watching him just hold out for eagle was pretty cool. One of Harry's favorite guys, Harry Hall, also qualified for the Open this past weekend as well. So he'll be heading over there. So
we had a bartender at our club. He's no longer there, but his father was the ambassador to Estonia. That's the only reason I know of the country, aside from this dude chipping in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
crazy.
I have 2 reasons.
Good Estonia knowledge, Harry.
All right.
All right. Well, that tea is brought to you by Wear SPF. Looking for sun protection that actually works and feels great? Wear SPF by PGA Pro Justin Thomas has you covered on and off the course. dermatologist tested and sweat resistant. It's broad spectrum SPF that won't mess up your swing or your skin. From the first tee to everyday life, protect yourself like the pros. Shop now at wearspf.com. That's wearspf.com, and stay safe all year long.
What a professional read that is by Danielle. I mean, Harry, she sounds like she's been in our business for longer than we have at this point.
Decades.
Oh, what's going on around here? How about you see
I
the Wear
put my
SPF?
SPF on first, so then it just got me in complete mode to
You got to
talk
be in
about.
character. You got to have it on you.
Yeah.
They had a cool collaboration with Garage Beer where they made their Wear SPF cans look like the Garage Beer cans.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because I guess Justin and the Kelseys have become friends. So
okay.
Yeah.
Did you see the stuff at the shore going on? Did you see?
Oh yeah.
Running, sliding, trying to get. I mean.
Yeah, that's a wild weekend in Sea Isle for sure.
I need to attend that. Well, actually, I might be too old for that now, but I'm vicariously living through the Philadelphia Eagles
definitely
Instagram
too old for Sea
right
Isle.
now and seeing what they're doing. That looks like a wild weekend.
I need a Sea Isle for 60-year-olds now. That's what I need.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I'm trying to think of where that would be.
I don't know.
Nothing's
I don't know
coming
that.
to mind.
I don't know that exists.
Yeah.
Maybe it's called the Village.
Naples, Florida. Naples.
The Villages.
The Villages would be good for you.
I used to go to Naples.
Yeah. So, Harry, what's going on with the game right now? I know you don't mind the heat. You've been out there, but we have had some rain. Have you gotten some play in? How's things going?
Weather's been crazy, but yeah, I did get a couple of rounds in last Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Wow.
And actually, our first hole is a huge nemesis. The first two holes of my club, the 1912 club, are my nemesis. And the first hole on Friday made par, Saturday made birdie, and Sunday made par. And it's just a super hard. You remember the whole moose?
Oh yeah,
like we're
downhill, feeds down to the right,
feeds around to the right, and you just have a crooked lie with your second shot, most likely, which is what really messes me up. I hit a 7-wood to about 6 feet and made birdie on Saturday morning. And the guys I'm playing with were in a match. They're like, oh, it's all downhill from here. Like, you birdied the first hole. And, they were pretty much right. But that hole, maybe I'm starting to get over that one. The second hole with the out of bounds all down the left, and it's basically like the green is in somebody's backyard, is just still a nemesis for me. But me, still got to work on that. But man, I've been hitting some incredible short game shots over the last couple of rounds, like pin high on our 11th hole, which the green is about the size of this tabletop that I'm working on here. And I hit a flop shot. I had some really good grass, which is significant. I hit a flop shot to a foot, tapped in for the par. I've had a couple of short game shots with 54-degree wedges where I've just, kind of brushing the grass and putting them, within 10 feet. So things like that are really improving. I just got to get a little bit better luck staying in the fairway when I, some of these crooked fairways where I hit the middle and it rolls off into the, into the darkness, and then you're faced with a really tough lie coming into the greens. But yeah, I'm working like crazy, getting forward. Getting my weight forward is the difference. We're working on that. If we can figure that out more consistently, I'll be able to play golf.
I'm with you, Harry. I got my first round under the belt with the new irons.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
I played at Bala this week. Bala's in great condition, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, a lot of fun. It went great. I'm very, very happy with them. I mean, the ball is just responding off the face of the club in a much better way.
And these are the apexes, right?
Yep. Our buddy Corey Riley, one of the best club fitters around. He's down at 5 Iron Golf. If you're in the market for some Callaway clubs, because they have a deal with Callaway, he will get you dialed in with the right ones. And he did with me, because I can't wait to play again.
Very small greens at Bala, so you had to be pretty sharp with those irons, right?
Yeah, or good with the wedge, if not. But my putting is in a really good place right now. And if I can control the ball off the tee, which I have, it's just the iron game for me. And it's accuracy. Yeah, it's just getting that ball just to be somewhere online right now, and we're getting there. So I'm actually playing Medford Village this week with our buddy Brian Dowell, the great real estate agent. yeah, it's a fun place.
Nice.
So it'll be a good like late Thursday leading into the holiday weekend round. Those are
Now,
fun.
how many times did you use the driver at Bala?
Um,
On 10 and 11, I imagine.
yeah, I mean, I use it on yes, I use it on 10, 11. Yeah, I probably used it 4 or 5 times.
Okay.
But I was
Yeah.
really trying to hit my irons because they were newer. So
Sure.
I was hitting 6 iron just to try to get it out there and hit it. But you know me, Harry, if I like the driver.
Oh yeah, he's like Potgeiter here. He likes to stretch it out there. No, that's good, man. That's great.
Danielle, how's the feelings in Illinois for the Matthews family? How's everybody feeling?
We're feeling good. Yesterday, Brennan had it's actually funny. Let me take it back to, I think it was Monday. I had the car, I dropped him off, had to do a couple things, get some food for the Airbnb, whatever. So I go back because I thought he was playing a 9-hole Pro-Am. He ended up playing 18. So I got there and I'm like, wow, this is the longest Pro-Am ever. And he calls me. He's like, we still have like 2 holes left. It was still a long Pro-Am. But anyway, he goes, yeah, I'm going to finish up and then I'm going to practice. I was like, no worries. The baby's sleeping in the car. I'm going to get some work done. I'm sitting there. I didn't even tell him this. I'm right in the short game area. I look up and I see a Strixon bag, the hat, whatever. I'm sitting there, I'm watching. I'm like, that looks like a little bit of different action. And I'm like watching. I think I'm watching Brandon for like 35 minutes. He turned around, starts walking away. I was like, that's not Brandon.
Well, there's a lot of guys with Strixon hats on tour.
They all look the same,
Yeah.
After 13 years, I should know what he looks like. But I was like, that's not his action. Like, that's not, I don't know what they're doing. So, but yeah, obviously he works with Jason Bale and they got in some great work yesterday. He said the course is in great condition. So I haven't gotten a chance to really see the course. I saw the practice facilities, but excited to get out tomorrow and see what it looks like. I'll throw some stuff up on our socials. I did see all the equipment, all the John Deere equipment spaced all over the place.
How's that area where you guys are? Is it a nice little town?
Flat.
It's flat.
Yeah. Live from Silvis, Illinois.
Yeah. Yep. Well, that's a course right behind Harry, right?
That's the par 3 16th behind me, and you got the river. What's that river? Is it the Rock River or something? I forget.
That's your homework assignment, Danielle. You got to figure out what that river is called.
Course with Danielle Matthews.
Let's go into the course, of course. TPC Deer Run. Harry, tell us about this place.
Yeah, Silvis, Illinois, very flat, like Danielle says. It used to be the Quad Cities Open way back in the day. Par 71, 7,289 yards, not long for PGA Tour standards. Designed by former PGA Tour pro D.A. Weibering along with Chris Gray way back in the late 90s. Only 3 par 5s, number 2, 10, and 17. 4 par 3s, 3, 7, 12, and 16. And there's a drivable par 4 at number 14 when they move the tees up. That'll get pretty spicy in the closing round. I imagine they'll probably do that at least on Sunday. Average green size, 5,500 square feet. It's bent grass. All over the place, except in the rough where it's Kentucky bluegrass and fescue. There are 76 sand bunkers, only 3 water hazards, and they're in play on only 3 of the holes, but number 18 is one of them, and that pond comes into play quite a bit on the approach. 21 under to 28 under is usually what is needed to win here. So you got to go low. You got to be 4, 5, 6 under pretty much every day to have a chance to win this thing. So a lot of good winners at this place. Bryson is one here back in the day. Jordan Spieth. We got you got Davis Thompson, I believe, is defending.
Yeah.
But it's really any kind of player can win. It's a
Poston.
It can be a
Straka.
Yeah, and they all stayed in the same house, the trophy house. I'm glad you brought that up.
Post for that. Okay.
Yeah,
I remember talking about that.
Yeah, remember that? We were talking about that last year. Yeah, Poston,
Airbnb
Straka,
is
and Thompson.
Probably already for next year by some golfer out here.
Well, I need to know, is Ben Griffin in that house? Because that's who I'm taking this week. I hate taking the favorite, but I just think he's going to win it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It's an interesting board, and let's talk about See the Line with our friends at Bet Parx. So, yeah, you talked about it. Ben Griffin is the favorite at 1,600. Jason Day, 2,500. Denny McCarthy at 2,500, who I've seen several of the sharps
people
like him this week.
He's the most popular pick on the one and done, Denny McCarthy.
No doubt. I actually went with Poston.
Okay. I was torn between
him left.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I like. How about our boy Bazoodenhout? Right, we talked about some of these guys that are
Good
firing.
spot for him.
T12 at the U.S. Open. He has a T2 here in
Yep.
2022 as well, and he's at 7,000.
I know.
Give
It's
me
a
that
big
action.
number.
Yep.
That
And
is a big number.
we talked about Jake Knapp too at 3,500. I like him a lot. But yeah, our Denny is who a lot of people are all over.
No doubt. Now, did Jason Bale give you any insight, Danielle, into Lucas Glover's putting this week? Because Lucas has won here before.
Yeah, we over a bottle of wine. He gave me everything last night.
Okay, well, he finished ninth at the Travelers just a couple of weeks ago, which was better than what it has been like for Lucas. If he can make a couple of putts, I mean, this is a great golf course for him from tee to green. Top 20 only pays about plus 160, but I was interested in that. Chris Kirk, another guy who plays well here, top 20, I think is easy money, and I'm taking him over Jake Knapp in a matchup. Jake Knapp getting a lot of love this week.
Yeah.
Because of the way he played last
Fire
week,
a 61. Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens.
I like Luke Clanton for some reason, too, to make a move. He finished second here last year when he was still an amateur at Florida State. Plus 3,500 to win seems a little bit low, but plus 360 in the top 10 looks good. And Ben Griffin, fifth here last year in 2024. His last 6 starts now on tour, his lowest finish has been 14th. Wow. So he's got 4 top 10s in his last 6 times he's teed it up. And obviously a pretty prohibitive favorite. You look at the difference between where he is and where the second favorite is, it's a pretty decent drop-off. So, Ben looking for his 3rd win of the year, man.
Oh, yeah.
What a year.
That just shows you how diabolical golf is. A guy that was ready to hang it up and was selling
mortgages.
And was selling insurance or mortgages.
Yeah, mortgages.
3 years ago. It's wild.
Unreal.
Now,
I wonder if he worked with Rocket.
No. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. I don't know.
But yeah, before we say goodbye, that Live Golf, you brought it up, some things about it, Danielle. Patrick Reed won last week in Dallas in a 4-man playoff over Ozuna, Oosthuizen, and Casey. It's his 4th top 10 finish, but interesting, it's his first win on the Live Tour since he's been over there. But he's an interesting name to watch at Royal Port Rush.
Give me Patrick Reed and Beth Page.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If he wins at Royal Port Rush, he's on the Ryder Cup team. And that would be epic stuff.
Oh, my God. That'd be amazing.
You'd have 2 Captain Americas on the team.
Oh,
Keegan
God.
Bradley and Patrick Reed. Remember him at Hazeltine going at it with Rory and shushing the crowd? And that was all
those Europeans don't want to play against Patrick
No
Reed.
way.
No.
Give me him all day.
They don't want any of that Reed smoke, man. I'll tell you what. And then Padraig, we talked about, he won the U.S. Senior Open at Broadmoor. He ended up holding on to win even after that lost ball. 11 under par with a final round 67 to beat Stuart Sink by a shot. It's his 10th win on the PGA Tour Champions and his 2nd Senior Open win. He's already in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I did. You brought up Live, and I don't love talking about it because I feel like there's never any more developments. But Rick Shields did talk to the relatively new CEO, Scott O'Neill, on what a merger, PGA Tour and Live merger would look like. So you can catch that on Rick Shields. I watched a couple of things, but essentially he's like, yeah, it could work. It would work. Is it going to happen? So really no new news at all. But I do have to give one additional shout out for I have 2 favorite listeners. We have Teddy and then Patrick Sheehan's mom, Karen, and Patrick qualified to have a job all next year on the PGA Tour of America. So just wanted to give him a shout out there and congratulate him as well.
Love that.
And that's the combination of the Latino America and the Canadian Tour, right? Mm-hmm. What used to
Correct. Yeah, they merged. I think it was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So now it's PGA of America. So
Nice.
It's essentially the Latin and the Canadian merged together.
Just another player to watch next year. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. Yep. We like having repeat or guests that we can root for, especially Patrick. Easy kid to root for.
Absolutely.
And don't forget, you can tee off with top tier golf balls without the top tier price. BuyMyBalls.com. Top quality recycled premium brands for a fraction of the price. Go to BuyMyBalls.com. That's balls with a Z. Thank you to Jim O'Connor. Make sure to check out ProAm for Wishes. Still ways to get involved. Incredible event to get involved with it at any different level. Great association to be with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, awesome. Philly section, and some really cool people involved. And Danielle, looking forward to seeing more from Illinois. Good luck to our guy this weekend. And we'll be back next week to talk about it as we inch ever closer to the Open Championship. Thanks for listening.